This is homework 7 for Unit 6. So the first one, we have to sketch these parametric equations. So we have x is equal to t and y equals t squared over 3, and it's supposed to be between -4 and 4. So we'll just set up our little chart. T, x, and y. Okay, so t is -4, -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we will start substituting in. So just putting t here, this will be the same then. -4, -3, -2, -1. That was easy. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And for y, we get t squared over 3. So -4, that would be 16 over 3, or 5 and 1/3. And then 9 over 3 is 3. And -2 would be 4/3, or 1 1/3. 1 would be 1/3. 0 would be 0. 1 again would be 1/3. 4/3, which is 1 1/3. 9/3, which is 3. And 16/3, which is 5 1/3. Okay, stop and graph this and come back and check it. And that's what number 1's graph should look like. All right, we'll move on to number 2. Okay, the next number 2 is x equals 3 minus 2t and y equals the square root of x plus 1, and they want it between 0 and 6. So I've numbered my t's from 0 to 6 and then just started doing x. So 3 minus 0 would be 0. 3 minus 2 times 1 is 1. And then 3 minus 6 is -3. 4, that would be 8. So 3 minus 8 is -5. For 5, you'd have 3 minus 10, or -7. And for 6, you'd have 8. You'd have 3 minus 12, which is -9 for the first ones. And let's see. The square root of 0 plus 1 is 1. The square root of 1 is 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. The square root of 2 plus 1, this looks like it must be a square root. It's going to have to be a calculator one. This would be 2.41 if you use your calculator. 2.73. 3, you can do that because the square root of 4 is 2, and 2 plus 1 is 3. Okay, so 5 would be the square root of 5 plus 1, which is 3.24 for rounding, and for 6 it would be 3.45. So then check back to see if you got your graph right. Okay, that's what number 2 looks like graphed with the arrows drawn in, going in this direction. Okay, let's go on to number 3. So number 3 says x equals t squared plus 1 and y equals t over 3 minus 2, and it wants it between -2 and 3. So here's t, and we do -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, and 3. All right, so for x, -2 would be 4 plus 1, or 5. -1 would be 1 plus 1, or 2. 0 would be 1. 1 would be 1 plus 1, which is 2. 2 would be 4 plus 1 is 5. And 3 would be 9 plus 1, or 10. So 5, 2, 1, 2, 5, 10. All right, for y, we have t over 3 minus 2. So -2/3 minus 2 would be -2 and 2/3. -1 over 3, -1/3 minus 2 would be -2 and 1/3. 0 minus 2 would be -2. 1/3 minus 2 would be -1 and 2/3. 2/3 minus 2 would be -1 and 1/3. And 3 over 3 is 1 minus 2, which is negative 1. All right, so give me a minute to graph that. I'll pause it, and then you can come back and check. Okay, there's number 3. It goes like this, with the directions on it. So hope you got that one graphed right. And we'll do one more on this video and then move on to the other problems. Okay, for 4, we have x is the square root of t, and y is t squared minus 2t. So for x, if we put in 0, we get 0. If we put 1 in, we get 1. If we put 2 in, we have the square root of 2, which is about 1.41. If we put 3 in, we get the square root of 1.73. If we put 4 in, we get the square root of 4, which is 2. And 5, we get the square root of 5, which is about 2.24. So yeah, you'd have to use your calculator to get those square roots. So for y, we have 0 squared minus 0, so we have 0. 1 minus 2 times 1, so 1 minus 2 would be negative 1. 4 minus 4 would be 0. 9 minus 6 would be 3. And 16 minus 4, no, not 16, let's see. Yeah, 16 minus 8, sorry, is 8. And 25 minus 10 is 15. All right, so those are the numbers you should have gotten when you did the math. And let's graph that now. So that's what your graph could look at. We weren't able to graph this last one because 15's off our graph. So those are your graphs, not very hard. And now we're going to move on to writing parametric equations in rectangular form. And if there's restrictions in the domain, talking about that.